The Nintendo DS is Nintendo's best-selling console of all time, so obviously their cash cow Mario would be all over the console. That's why in this video I'm going to rank every single Mario game on the Nintendo DS. If I miss anything important or you just disagree with me, give it to me in the comments below. But before we begin, check out this really cool intro made by G Game. His content is really good, so please go subscribe to him. Alright, let's get into it. The launch title for the Nintendo DS was Super Mario 64 DS, which has some good and some bad. It is a fantastic remake with new characters, new bosses, and my favorite part, which is the minigames. There are many of these, and they're just so fun. Some of my favorites include Picture Poker with Luigi, the Bob-Omb sorting game, and Wanted. But, however, this game suffers heavily from the controls. Controlling characters in a 3D space, it's so hard to do when you use a D-pad for the movement and camera. Besides that, this game is great, so it will get an A tier. Yoshi Touch and Go is a pretty bad game in my opinion. It was meant to show off the touchscreen capabilities of the Nintendo DS, but I'm pretty sure they forgot to give this game substance, as there's only 4 different minigames to play, and that's the entire game. There are some cool things here and there, and the minigames are kind of fun, but this is nowhere enough to be counted as an actual game. C tier. I really love Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. It was the sequel to Superstar Saga on the GBA, and it's almost perfect. The battle system and XP is really satisfying, and made even better by the babies, which is another thing. The idea of time travel is so cool, and seeing what the Mushroom Kingdom was like in the very past. The babies also allow you to travel into tight and very small spaces using collectibles. There are also many good things about this game, so I will give it the first S tier in this tier list. Mario Kart DS is also an amazing game. It was the first Mario Kart with online play, which was pretty cool. There are also amazing new tracks, such as Waluigi Pinball and Cheep Cheep Beach. Plus, there are many new characters, such as Dry Bones and Rob. Another cool thing about this game is the new mission mode, which is so fun, and I wish Nintendo would bring it back in any of the future Mario Kart games. However, my only complaint with this game is the drifting. It's kind of weird they have to wiggle the D-pad, and it has a steep learning curve. But also, the ranking system in this game is also so difficult. I played absolutely flawlessly in a match, in a Grand Prix instead, and I still got a D tier on it somehow. Mario Kart DS is a great game though, so it will get an A tier. I bet most of you don't know this game, but this is Super Princess Peach. Even I don't know much about this game, but I know quite a bit. This time the roles are flipped, where Peach is now rescuing Mario. It has some of the core elements, but a bit different. Instead of stopping on enemies, you use a parasol, and it has a heart mechanic, and there's emotions that control your attacks and abilities, which is also pretty cool and weird. This is pretty refreshing for a Mario platformer, and it's a pretty fun time, so I'll give it a B tier. Now we have my favorite game on the Nintendo DS, which is New Super Mario Bros. Some people don't like this game because they associate it with the other slightly less creative games, but people that do know the differences think that this is an amazing game. For starters, this game revived 2D Mario, and combined Mario's 3D movement with his 2D movement, making for very free controls. Also, the worlds are now much more vibrant, and there's a ton of cool level gimmicks, whether it's riding on a massive wiggler throughout the level, being chased by a massive eel, or turning the entire level upside down. This game also has a variety of new and engaging power-ups, such as the Mini Mushroom, Mega Mushroom, and the Blue Shell. Also, not to mention, this game has every single one of the mini-games from 64 DS, which are already fun in their own right. And not to mention, there's the Mario vs. Luigi mode, which is incredibly fun. You and Luigi compete to see who could collect the most big stars. And this one is extremely fun because you could either sabotage your opponent or make sure that you get the stars first. I heavily recommend this game mode. And anyways, New Super Mario Bros. Is an amazing game, so it'll get the next S tier. Next is the first and only Mario sports game on the DS, which is Mario Hoops 3-on-3. This one is actually pretty underrated. It involved using the touchscreen in order to move the characters, which actually makes for a really fun gameplay, and uses core Mario elements to create some engaging gameplay. There are also even some non-Mario characters in this game, and besides having a fun game of basketball and a banger OST, this is a really good game. Nintendo should make more Mario basketball games. This game will get an A tier. Now we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2 March of the Minis. This was a sequel to the original game on the GBA, but sadly it just isn't as good. In this game you use the touchscreen to control the mini Marios, but it is so much more boring compared to the platforming element being in the original, but still a decent sequel to improve some things in the formula. But I just heavily prefer the rush of the original, and the collectibles, and the platforming, and the enemies. But this game is still decent, so I'm gonna give it B tier. The next game was Yoshi's Island DS, which is so much better than Yoshi Touch and Go. It's a sequel to Yoshi's Island, believe it or not, and it has all the core elements of Yoshi's Island, which is already off to a great start with how engaging that was. In this game, there are the 7 star children with many more characters as babies this time, and now you can carry all of them with different special effects. There are a couple of new bosses this time around, and a few more extra features of this game. I definitely say it's worth playing, so I'm gonna give it A tier. Mario Party DS is one I haven't played much, but I still know it's a great game. This was the first handheld entry with multiplayer, and it was pretty fun with friends and without. This time, Bowser has shrunk the cast into being teeny tiny, and this makes the opportunity for some pretty fun mini games, also for good ones to return as well. There are also a variety of boards to play on, which makes for a fun Mario Party experience. This game is great, so it will get an A tier. The second to last game we'll be ranking is Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, and this one was kind of revolutionary as Nintendo and Sonic have always been rivals up to this point, and even when Sonic was on Nintendo consoles, Mario and Sonic never really clashed together until now. This game has a good variety of sports to play, and it makes use of the touchscreen very well. It's a pretty fun game overall, but its successors are better. However, it's a nice step in the nice direction, so I'm gonna give it B tier. Mario & Luigi Bowsers Inside Story was the last Mario game on the DS, and this is just as good as Partners in Time and even more creative. This time all the battles with Mario and Luigi take place inside Bowser, and it's super fun going through different parts of him, such as the muscles and stomach, and having to deal with goofy shenanigans. You can also play as Bowser, which feels fresh for the franchise. On top of having all the fun elements of Mario and Luigi, this game is really fun, so it will get S tier. And that our tier list is complete. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I promise there's some more creative videos coming up, and I'm gonna be taking a break from ranking videos for a while. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.